What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jose and I'm here with PetRockMedia.com, and today we're going to be taking a little bit of a small sneak peek and preview of the brand new, just announced Sony a7S Mark III. Now, July has been a pretty interesting month as there have been some numerous cameras announced. We first got the Canon R5, which shoots 8K. Then we had Blackmagic come in with their new camera that shoots 12K. And now we have a little bit of a fresh air sneak peek of the new Sony camera, which shoots in 4K, but it's a powerhouse of a 4K camera. And that's the new Sony a7S Mark III. Now, the a7S is not going to be released in July. It's going to be released late September, the 24th of September. And it's going to be touted with a price tag of $3,500. If you look it up on B&H, I believe it's $34.98. We'll chop it up to $4,000 plus tax. You do the math, depending on where you're at. Could be about $4,300 to $4,400. And this is body only. So the purpose of this video is just to kind of deliver with you the kind of specs of the camera. Not going to be making a decision as to whether or not you should get this camera or not. I'll leave that decision up to you based off of these specs. If, as you are reviewing your own personal needs and what kind of content you create and deliver, this camera could be for you. First thing I will mention though is that this camera is in no way, repeat, in no way a photography style of camera. Can it shoot photos? Yes, but if you're looking to make crispy images and also have the ability to create some pretty good video, then I would probably look at the A7R lineup. Those are some pretty amazing cameras. They shoot incredible high resolution extra crispy images and can produce some very good videos. This camera is not a hybrid style of a camera, so to start off the video, again, this is not your typical hybrid style of camera. This is a very video-centric, video-specific camera for you video shooters and content creators and professionals out there. So first off, as I alluded to at the beginning, this is a 4K powerhouse of a camera. It does not shoot 8K, it does not shoot 12K, it is a 4K centric camera that can produce amazing videos from the footage that I've seen thus far. Now, I'm not going to debate on whether or not you should look for 8K, 12K, 4K, things like that. A lot of surveys have gone around and asked content creators and professionals out there, what's your #1 resolution that you wish the camera had? And by far, a lot of individuals answered 4K with great output, little to no crop, and amazing full read out on the Hdmi. And I believe Sony has delivered with majority of what people have wanted with this particular camera. Now, this camera comes in with a 12 megapixel sensor. Larger pixels on this sensor equals less noise, because noise is applied to every pixel on the sensor. So if there's less pixels because they're larger, then that in theory means less noise in lower light situations, which is where this camera, I believe, is really going to shine. The A7 models are known for their low light capabilities, and I don't believe this camera disappoints in that area as well. Again, if you're a photographer, I would recommend looking elsewhere. Again, the A7R lineups are really where you'd want to be if you're a photographer that also shoots video and you're not a video-centric individual and creating content specifically for video purposes. This leads to the debate of, is there such thing as a perfect camera? Again, my opinion is that there is not. There is a camera for each individual job, each individual outcome, and every individual project will require a very specific camera, in my opinion. If you shoot video primarily and photos are a second thought for product shots and things like that, then this camera could be amazing for you. The video footage that we've been getting out of this camera that I've seen so far from other creators out there that have had early access to this camera looks amazing. One of the ones that I would recommend, and I'll leave her channel down below, is Hdmi, which rhymes with Peachy. She has some incredible footage out there, samples from this particular camera that she shot around New York, and I think the color replication is amazing with this camera. The dynamic range that you can get out of this thing is pretty remarkable considering it's such a small mirrorless camera. Now, they have moved on from 8-bit to 10-bit 422, which can provide, if you shoot in S-Log 2 or 3, up to 15 stops of dynamic range on this particular camera. So that is pretty amazing when you consider the size and where we've come from the other A7 lineups. Another cool feature that a lot of video-centric individuals and creators out there have been screaming for is a full-size HDMI, and you finally have the full-size HDMI built into the camera. You don't have to add a grip, you don't have to add any type of additional attachment. On the camera body itself, you will have a full-sized HDMI. Now, with that HDMI port, you are going to be able to spit out a full 16-bit raw video signal courtesy of that HDMI output, which is insane again when you think about the size of the camera and the specs that this little powerhouse has. Now, that kind of raw footage could be a little much if you're just concentrating on YouTube creation. Not to say that you can't produce some amazing images, but that can produce some pretty large files. And again, if you're not familiar or comfortable with grading raw footage, I would either recommend doing some research and some homework on it to get good at it, or potentially not shooting in that style until you can become familiar with it. But again, you do have that ability of 16-bit raw courtesy of that full HDMI output on the camera. You also obviously get 4K 60 and 120. However, that 120 is going to have a small crop of 1.1 times. So again, it's not perfect in the sense that it's a full readout of 120 4K, but again, a 1.1 crop on 4K 120 is pretty remarkable, again, for the size of the camera and the fact that it is touting no overheating over an hour's worth of footage. So that's something to think about too. Sony has really stated that this camera will not overheat and will provide you with what you're looking for. Now again, I would hold that and take that with a grain of salt, because as the full production cameras start coming out in September, we're going to want to see if there is overheating, and if so, for how long, and then that whole debate of why would a camera overheat and whatnot will surely take place. You're seeing that right now with some of the Canon cameras. Canon is issuing a couple of recalls, and they may delay the shipping of the R5 and R6 due to that overheating issue. So that's something to pay close attention to when you're looking at this camera. If your particular job requires you to shoot long shots of over 20-30 minutes at a time, then that's still something you may want to consider looking elsewhere if that particular feature is something that you absolutely need, long clips in 4K 120. Now, one thing, and I'm going to use my phone because I don't want to mess it up, with regards to that 4K recording, Sony is stating that you can record over an hour's worth of film straight without any overheating due to a new passive heat management structure built into the camera. So they are touting that they have learned from their mistakes, from all their overheating issues, and have now fixed it courtesy of this new management system, and it's built into the new A7S Mark III, which allows you to have longer times when recording in 4K 120. Now, one of the big features that this camera was given that not a lot of people were anticipating was the flippy screen. You do have a flip screen that flips out. One cool thing that I do like about it is that it does flip and does not block the microphone input. Right now we're filming on an X-T4, and the flip screen does get in the way of the mic jack input on the body itself. So that's something to really think about, that not a lot of times we as creators think about when it comes to filming our content and just what can potentially get in the way. The mic jack is out of the way of the flip screen on this new Sony camera. So that's something to think about. So it does have an EVF, an OLED EVF, coming in with 9.44 million dots. So all these features are just a small taste of what you can expect if you're looking at a new camera courtesy of Sony and the new A7S Mark III. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this camera. Is this something that you are going to be potentially pre-ordering or picking up? Or you're going to do like a lot of other content creators and wait until they're out into the masses and see what potential issues could come out from day one releases, and then see if there's any firmware updates that could potentially fix that issue, or if it's a hardware issue, which I think is what Canon is running into, and that's why they're recalling some of their cameras. Are you going to wait to see what this Sony camera does, and if there's going to be any potential type of recalls, and maybe holding off until that happens? Again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you so much again for stopping on by the channel. I greatly appreciate the support and all the comments. Keep them coming, and I will catch each and every one of you in the next video. Peace.